I'm going to be changing these. I feel that last year I kept pretty consistent with doing the same style, these seasonal anime videos, and so I want to have a different style this year. These videos are now going to be less of my overall opinion on these shows and more of whether or not you should watch it. In short, I'm just going to say, like, if I recommend the show or not, by ranking them avoid, good, and must watch. I'm changing the format mostly because I just want it to be shorter and because I want to leave more space for me to talk in depth about what I really like in individual videos or at the end of the year. But without further ado, let's go over Anime Winter 2022. So the reason as to why I'm saying these two are probably not worth your time is because for both of them I watched their first couple episodes and was just beyond bored the whole time. Starting with Orient, this show is bland, redundant, and nothing you haven't seen before. It's kind of disappointing as it's from the creator of Magi, which I think is a legitimately good show and premise, but Orient is just the result of taking Magi and dumbing it down to a point where all of the uniqueness and charm that was present within that show disappears. It's a classic overpowered MC going against a whole group of bad guys to save humanity. To make things worse, there's a plot twist in the first episode that made me roll my eyes so hard I think I saw the inside of my head. And that's when I realized, oh my god, I have a brain. So I used it for more than 2 seconds and stopped watching Orient. Fantasy Bishoujo is kinda sus. When I saw the trailer for this, I thought it might be kind of funny, but you know, when your whole comedy show is based off of one joke, and the joke isn't even that funny to begin with, I mean, you can kind of expect how that show's gonna turn out, and it's not a great result. To top it off, it's a generic isekai with generic voice actors, character designs, and animation, and there aren't really many redeeming qualities to the show. Like, I don't know if this show gets better later eventually, but the prospect of watching it to find out if it does isn't very appealing to me. Akebi's animation is like a clear spring day. Like, I don't know how else to describe how clean and crisp movements, backgrounds, and basically all visuals within the show look. Like, I wish the same could be said for the story, but it's just a plain slice of life. However, since I know that some people like boring slice of life shows, I put this in the category instead of the avoid. Well, mostly because I didn't think that a show this well animated deserved to be with the other two, but also because there are people who would actually really like this show, but personally, and I think for a lot of other people, I mean, there really isn't that much that's appealing. Like, the main character is just one of those super cheerful types who just wants to make friends, and to do that, she goes to school like a normal person. And that's what I'm really looking for in my entertainment, to be reminded of school. Alright, so now we're gonna get into some of the good stuff. Alright, hear me out for a second. Crazy idea, alright? So this guy with a bow and arrow, alright, let's say he has this bow and arrow, and he shoots arrows, and then mushrooms explode out of wherever those arrows land, okay? So let's also say that he rides a giant crab around, and also he's become the #1 most wanted fugitive in the world with the nickname Maneater because the government is saying that the mushrooms he's shooting create rust, which can then spread to humans and be life-threatening. But in reality, the mushrooms actually eat the rust, which is why it's called Sabikui. And he teams up with his blue-haired doctor guy that people call Panda to find a legendary mushroom that's very good at eating rust. And yeah, that's Sabikui Bisco. Synopsis aside though, this show basically encapsulates what I feel makes anime as a medium special. I mean, I wasn't dramatizing that description, that's actually just like what the show is. Like, there isn't a single other medium in the world that would take this concept and run with it, but in anime, it just works. It's very enjoyable watching a show where you genuinely don't know what weird and wacky thing is going to happen next, and it's shows like these that make me glad to be an anime fan. Because where else am I supposed to watch literal hippos with machine guns on their backs running in formation? To be fair, it's sort of difficult for me to recommend this because I do feel like the show stagnates. Like, first couple episodes are extremely strong, and I had my fun with them, but I did get bored as the story began losing steam. You know, the wackiness kind of decreased a bit, and it devolved into kind of a snooze fest. But everything I said is true up to a certain point, and I still think it was a great experience regardless of the lackluster ending. I hate the fact that I doubted Ranking of Kings. Although, I feel like nearly everybody who has watched the show also probably feels the same way. Because Ranking of Kings does not look like anime. It looks like some Disney cartoon, and my preconception was that it would play out like that. A Disney cartoon, which is why I just didn't really give it a chance. But you see, I follow Studio Wit on Instagram, and they were posting a lot about Ranking of Kings, so even though I rarely go on Instagram, I happened to see one of their posts one time. And if you guys know me, you know I like Studio Wit, so when I saw that they were the ones who had made the show, I decided to keep an open mind and watch the first episode. And goddamn, am I glad I did. Like, nearly everything about this show on a technical level is just so far and beyond what you normally see, and it's so apparent that I noticed right off the bat. Yeah, it takes the appearance of a Disney cartoon children's story, especially the animation, but don't judge a book by its cover because it really is so much more than it seems to be at first. From the first minute of the first episode, you are introduced to a vast and rich world, slowly brought to life through great world building, populated with characters who, while at first seem tropey and unoriginal, their insane character development get to the point where you can believe that these were real people. And these are just the building blocks, because the world and characters are incredible, yes, but there's also a great plot, soundtrack, and voice acting that all complement each other and form a cohesive package. Now, due to the fact that I was at first skeptical about the show, and also because I don't really enjoy this show as much as the ones that I did put in must watch, this is not going to go in must watch, but when you see me put this in good, just know that I know that this is not just good, it's really very super good. I don't think that there will be many seasons where I would put this many must-watch shows in, but I truly believe that these three are deserving of the title. Attack on Titan Final Season Part 2 is bringing an end to one of the most beloved anime series of all time. Demon Slayer Season 2 came in with animation that looks better than the movie, and My Dress Up Darling is a damn good rom-com. I don't really need to tell anybody to go and watch Final Season Part 2 because I know that everybody has either watched or are currently watching it. But goddamn, the story is just so good. Like, there are so many gigantic twists that I just didn't see coming out. I mean, AOT as a series has always been really unpredictable to me. And the most incredible part of that is that it has never used any cheap tactics to surprise the viewer. It's just things that I genuinely didn't see coming. And yet, through some magic writing, the progression of the story still feels natural. I know that a lot of people, when comparing this final season by MAPPA to, Wit's adaptation, have been complaining that there hasn't really been an insane Sakuga moment yet. But, I mean, I don't want to say, hey, we got one, but, hey, we got one. But even if we didn't get that, I'm going to be honest, I don't really need an insane Sakuga moment from this show. Like, I am so much more interested in the story and politics of the world than the action scenes, which is why I think that the first season was the weakest season. If you aren't watching this show, you are actively missing out on one of the best anime ever made. Like, I am genuinely lost as to why you aren't watching it instead of this video. Probably make an AOT standalone video one day, so look out for that, and please watch Attack on Titan. I don't think I've ever seen animation look this good. Alright, that's a lie. But this is a TV show, not a movie. Like, the fact that Ufotable managed to do this for a seasonal TV anime is absolutely mind-boggling, and this could either be due to overworking of animators or a more extended amount of time spent on animating the show. I'm hoping it's the latter, but it is Japan, in which overworking has long been a rampant problem, especially in the anime and manga industry. Whatever the reason though, the show looks incredible for it. I'm going to be honest and say that I am not invested in the story or characters of Demon Slayer. Like, the reason why it will never be one of my favorite anime, even favorite shonen, is because I don't think that the story is captivating, and I don't think that the characters are interesting. Like, I do mean it when I say that Demon Slayer is a good show, but what elevates it from being pretty good to very good is basically only the animation. Because you cannot look at this stuff and not be impressed, not be blown away. It's so clean and crisp and fast and bright and colorful and emotional. Like, Demon Slayer Season 1 had insane animation as well, especially, the infamous or famous episode 19, but Demon Slayer Season 2 makes other shonen fights look like X-Arm. I mean, really. Everything about the fights this season was so hype and good. And Ufotable knew that, so they doubled down on it. Like, Ufotable seems to recognize that it is their animation that is carrying the show, and I am so here for it. Can't wait for more. My Dress Up Darling is a great rom-com. A great rom-com. If you didn't know, I like rom-coms, and this show has everything I like about them with a bit of a twist that allows it to bring in ecchi stuff without it seeming like cheap fan service. The chemistry between Marin and Gojo is so endearing and fun to watch, and Marin is honestly probably already the best girl of the year. She has a lot of great qualities and a great personality. No, but she actually does. Just to give you a quick rundown on the show, like, Gojo, who's the main character, from a very young age has been infatuated with Hina dolls, which from the perspective of teenage boys in high school is kind of like Barbies. So for his whole life, Gojo has been isolated due to his obsession with this one thing, and his lack of interest in anime, manga, video games, sports, all of the other things that teenage boys normally like. But Marin doesn't care about this, and her acceptance of his hobby and who he is as a person is really what gets the relationship going. This is where the emotional and real undertones of the show come into play, because while at other times it's just a good rom-com, it's the underlying emotions of the characters, their insecurities and issues that really made the show interesting to me at least. So Marin finds out that Gojo sews and makes Hina dolls and tells him she likes to cosplay. This leads to Gojo using his doll making skills to make Marin a cosplay, leading to a lot of really great scenes along the way, as well as a clear direction for the story to take. So if a wholesome, ecchi cosplay rom-com with great characters sounds interesting to you, I would definitely recommend you check it out. If you're unacquainted with anime, watch this away from your family. And yeah, that's about it.